Vital process presentation for the spiral. I'm Isabel Jaraba and thank you for listening. So, I will be mainly in charge of UI, visual compositions, color theory, marketing assets like the fonts, logo, posters, also the slides were designed by me, sound implementation, 2D and minor 3D. Inside the team, I'm a 2D artist, graphic designer, and also project manager. However, I will be assisting my art team with extras related to 3D modeling, texturing, and VFX, and all the assets that could require my involvement due to time limitations or scope. This because I'm not a 3D artist, but I'm learning very happily about it. We got a previous concept that was a maze escape VR game multiplayer. Player 1 will be in VR and it will be experiencing all the maze escape with very low visibility. That's why player 2 enters into account. Player 2 was going to be playing in PC, looking in a top down view the whole maze, helping player number 1 to get out of it. However, we decide to reject this concept because for player number 2 the experience was not that horrific. For that one, we were thinking about a greenish, scary forest in case we wanted to do it in an outside space, and in case we wanted to set into an inside, we were thinking about this type of mood that we can see here. Something like it's unknown, and you have a little bit of fear of going into this dark hole. But also, we were thinking about what about making this building alive, like making it being construct completely of meat, like it is a living being where you are in. But as I already know, we changed the concept to this. The spiral of time. The sad idea that we have now is that the game starts in a lobby where the player in VR is floating in the middle of the spiral of time. The spiral will be represented as a natural force, like water or wind. This spiral represents the theory of the time where the past, the present, and future is looking like this way. You know that time is cyclical, like the seasons are a cycle and days are a cycle, but at the same time they have a direction because they are going further in future or past also. That's why the spiral theory works very well for our game. The player will float through scenes that are dispersed in this spiral. The floating movement will have sound and VFX, and we were considering also that the spiral only moves when the player moves, simulating travel. For the looking out of the scenes, we were planning to use dioramas dollhouse preview. Once the player has chosen where he wants to go, it gets into it. However, the scenes can also be represented also like doors, but it's something that we haven't discussed. Color-wise, we also haven't explored it deeply because we're waiting until we have a story and narration set in a basic way. The, only when this is done, we can really start analyzing the emotions of every scene. That way we can represent them through the color. However, the theme right now is very influenced by an analog desaturated palette with one opposite and saturated color, like in this image. This saturated color will serve as an accent and will be used in a percentage of 10 and 30 and 3% of the whole screen. As I already know, I'm mostly UI artist, so for this one I take in consideration some games that will be mainly for the design of the UI. The first one is Inua, where here, for example, our player will have inventory. So we were planning to also have the player maybe in the middle with this circle being a little bit spiritual looking with all the objects floating around it. However, because it is a VR game, we cannot put the player like in third person. So we translate this concept into the hand, around the hand of the player. Also, we can make the hand of the player a little bit transparent to keep going with this spiritual feeling that you are in an abstract world. For the narration, we take inspiration with Edith Finch also. Edith Finch narration dialogues were shown in front of the scenes as a part of the story is being told while you're exploring this. Also, the icons for interact will be very minimalistic. And finally, the dioramas. These dioramas we take inspiration of cloud gardens, where the space is very limited and the background is foggy space. Also in Inua, this type of style is represented with a very clearly limited space with a very blank zone outside. This is an extra idea we haven't discussed. It's a cute style about paper-like, a little bit also diorama, that will help us to explore more the narration styles that we can use. However, it's something that we haven't explored, and we still need to decide in terms of game design and game mechanics if we will have good scenes. So, what's next? Defining the game concepts to start making our decisions. Defining mechanics to start designing UI prototyping, concept art, 3D blockouts for level design, and finally the asset list and assigning tasks for each of the artists. That's everything for me, and thank you for listening.